Hey guys, so I just want to give you a quick little tour of some of my Jason room or collectibles room. It's basically going to be mostly the Jason figures and masks that I have in my collection. So I just wanted to give you a little taste of what I have in the man cave. I know a lot of people have been asking over the years what kind of stuff I have. So let's go ahead and start. This is really where it started for me. The movie Maniacs Jason, made by McFarlane Toys, Todd McFarlane. This is definitely the first real Jason, at least the first real licensed Jason figure ever made. And it's really, it doesn't quite hold up to today's standards. I mean, but back then when I saw this really jump-started my interest in collecting. So this one in the box is the non-bloody, and this is probably one of the first figures I ever bought when I was really starting to collect, and I bought this back in the early 2000s. It was really hard to find back then, and then I bought this bloody version when they re-released them. So you can see he's got blood on his leg and his shirt. But then if you look at this one, there's no blood. So pretty cool. But yeah, I remember being in a store and seeing this, just the back of the packaging, and I think I found Patrick and Eve, and I was like, who the hell wants Species figures? You know, the movie had been done. Nobody really seemed to care much about that movie, but then I saw Freddy and Jason on the back, and just immediately got my interest. So really cool. You know, like I said, it's not like today's standards. It just doesn't fit. It's not nearly as good, but still definitely for people that remember this figure when it came out, they were probably really into it. So I'm glad I held on to it. They had a fish tank. They called them fish tanks. It was Freddy and Jason, like in a set. I used to have it. Do not have it anymore, but they did make that. He also made a Jason X version, which I do have, and I'll show that one in a minute. So here's my Sideshow Toys collection for Jason. And I used to have a lot more of these, actually. It started with the part 3, and these were pretty cool. You could remove the mask, and the details were pretty good on here. Didn't really have any articulation in the neck, which was kind of weird. But that was their first figure, and it was pretty cool. It's an old one. It's early 2000s. Most of these are early 2000s. And then they did make a part 4, which was one of their last ones, I believe. And the part 3, they didn't make an exclusive, but for the part 4, they did. And I still have this one in the box. It has been opened at one point, but pretty cool piece. He comes with the Pamela Voorhees gravestone. Really cool artwork, and even gives you the cast and everything. And you can kind of see, you know, what it looks like, so you can kind of reenact the death scene. And yeah, I think this was one of the last ones, because you could see all the different ones pictured here. I mean, they had part 2, 3, 4. They never made a Roy, and they did have a part 6, which you can kind of see him back here. Then they had part 7. So they made a pretty good amount of them. The remake wasn't out yet, so they didn't make one for that. Another exclusive, probably the coolest one, is the New Blood Jason, which is really cool. And again, the mask can come off of here. It's a little tougher because they changed the strap, but yeah, he's pretty cool. But yeah, the detail's really cool. He's got the realistic chain, exclusive weapon. I can't even remember what the exclusive weapon was. It might be the one he's holding, like a tree trimmer. A pretty cool piece. And then they did make a Freddy vs. Jason version, which you've probably seen very famously. People have used this picture, or this figure, and they put like a croc in his hand, but he actually holds the little teddy bear, which was the exclusive. But this is a really old one. I remember being really excited when this one came out. He's got that really cool outfit change. And then the bear was the exclusive piece, of course, but the mask doesn't come off of this one, which was Not that surprising because they didn't really reveal the face, but he's got that fabric hair. So pretty cool. So that's all of my sideshows. I used to have the part 6 and the Jason Goes to Hell versions, but you know, they are gone. Besides the Mezco figures, I also have a couple of the Mezco Living Dead dolls, pretty much the only ones they made. They made a part 3 first, which looks really cool. I like the box that one came in. And then they did do a remake version, and that's the one that's outside of the box. And this one didn't really have a removable mask. You had to kind of jimmy it off of there, but he does have a face underneath. But these are pretty cool. Not, you know, it's not for everybody, but back then, especially, I was a completionist, so I'd pretty much buy anything. Jason, but he's got that like fabric hair on there, which is actually sewn in. You can kind of see where it's sewn in. So really good quality pieces. But the part 3, I think, really steals the show. I mean, it's just such a classic look. He's really bloody. The hockey mask is removable in this one. It's actually supposed to be removable, so he's got blood on his face and everything. So I'll show you box. I haven't taken this one out of the box in a while, but really cool looking if you want something different for your collection. Creation X Part 3, not bad. It's kind of like a, you know, a little bit cheaper quality mask, but it does the trick, especially if you could do a custom paint job to it. This is another Creation X mask. This is the New Blood Jason. You can see the battle damage. This is much cooler, I think. Definitely like this one. This was actually a new one I found at a Halloween store, which I thought was pretty good. It's you know, an official Jason mask, but far better than the mask I had when I was a kid. So I would have loved this thing. You know, the weathering's not that great, but I do like the look of it. And then this is the NECA one. I think this is really good quality. I've worn this with my costume. It's really heavy. I wouldn't say this is actually meant to be worn, but you could definitely wear it, and I had no real problems with it. But yeah, it's definitely got some weight to it. But this is, I think the weathering on this was the best one they've made. And then my favorite one is made by Fright Stuff, which made some really cool hockey masks. My brother actually put a nice custom paint job on this boy, so looks really cool. We got the little metal studs there where the straps could connect if you put an extra piece, and then the emblems. This is all custom, so you only get the non-painted mask, and then you have to put the chevrons on, and you have to paint it. So really cool. And I've got it, which is some random kind of zombie mask underneath, so it looks pretty cool. So yeah, I definitely like to collect the masks. And then one other little goofy thing, this is one of those things from I think Walgreens, kind of just does the little Jason music. So pretty cool mask. I'm always interested in the hockey mask. These are some of the kind of one-off pieces that I have. I really didn't see much more from these companies, at least not yet. This is a really old one. This was a Matchbox, little Matchbox car, and it's like got the Camp Crystal Lake, you know, logo on there, Camp Counselor. It's just like a Jeep, and you can see it's got this humongous Jason Voorhees on here. And this is really, really old. I think this is one of the first things I remember seeing for Friday the 13th, at least like the first like licensed thing. He's got like a mini figure on here, so he's pretty big, a few inches tall, but pretty cool. I mean, obviously he's more, you know, stylized or whatever, but pretty cool little piece. And then Mezco, they've made a lot of figures over the years, but they just released a 112 version not too long ago, so you could definitely still pick this one up in a store. But he's pretty cool. He's got the removable mask on here, and it's really well made. You get a couple different heads with him, bloody, non-bloody. I thought the sculpt was pretty good on here, more like 6-inch scale. Part 3 and 4 are really my favorite Friday 13th movies, so anything comes out from those, I just gotta have it. This is a Revoltech Kyoto Jason. I guess he's like considered more like a 5-inch scale, but you can see it's a bunch of writing I can't read, but you get some really cool pictures on here, different posters over the years. And then you get the figure in here, and he's got 2 removable masks, a non-bloody and a bloody face, tons of different weapons. He's got kind of a little base from the barn. Really cool looking figure. I've had this one open before for a while. I kind of boxed it up not long ago. But I remember when this one came out, I was pretty excited, especially the promo images, I think, looked a little bit better, of course, than the actual figure. But he's really cool. You can see he kind of comes with this base. Again, you really can't read it unless you can, but I can't. But he does come with this little base right here, and you can see all the different weapons. So this one's pretty cool. I think the price has gone down a little bit recently if you're looking to buy something different. I've always been into like the NECA stuff, so anytime they come up with something new, I'm, you know, first in line to get it, or I will find a way to get it. And the retros really thought were pretty cool. They're definitely a nod to that old 70s style figure, which I'm not from the 70s, but I kind of always was jealous of those figures and wish they had characters that I kind of grew up with or was more familiar with. And I think NECA really kind of knocks it out of the park with these. You got the fabric clothes and a lot of the same details you'd see with their 7-inch lines, so pretty cool. You know, you could remove the mask. This Roy figure was the first real licensed Roy figure ever made, as far as I know. So that's pretty cool. One of the saddest ones for me is this Pamela Voorhees. It's such a cool figure, and I actually picked this up in person at San Diego Comic-Con. And she actually was going to possibly do an appearance and sign these for people. But she died right before the Comic-Con, and obviously right before the figures ever were released. So very, very rare figure, but I really wish I would have met her, because I've met a bunch of Jasons over the years, but I've never met her. And then NECA, of course, they did make other retros, which I will show you as well. Those are like mint on card. Most of my NECA stuff is open, and I tend to sometimes I'll buy 2 of something if I want to keep the box. But I got this 25th anniversary box set years ago, and that kind of dates it. So this would be 2005, I guess. And you can see this one is based off of part 1 and part 2, and it's really the only time NECA made a Pam Voorhees in that classic 7-inch figure scale. But you also got the part 2 Jason with some different interchangeable parts. And of course you have this insane shrine that you see in part 2 at the very end, and it's got Pam Voorhees' head, which you've seen released before, but you also have the sweater. It's just really cool. It's got a bunch of bodies around it, so pretty neat. And you can see some different pieces that go with that. So very cool piece. And if you see, it's got that old House of Horror logo on it, which is pretty classic. And you can see the back of the box just has really cool pictures of basically what's pictured all on the side, so you can see the different bodies, skeletons and everything. Get a little description. So really, really nice box set. NECA always did a great job with these boxes. And then I do keep some things in the box still, or I just have 2 of again. So this is the original NES Jason, which is pretty cool. And then I did keep one with the plastic seal, which I think is pretty rare. Most people probably open these, and now NECA never wraps these. Something about the retail complained about it or something. This is the re-release, or like the repaint, or whatever you consider it, but they actually did change it quite a bit. So this is a new one. Unfortunately, the music box no longer works. And then just some different art for some of the other boxes. So pretty cool. I got the extra part 6 back here. Just awesome pieces. For the NECA stuff, I've definitely got some carded pieces. I've got the original part 3 and part 4. And these aren't the ultimates. These were in their blister cards, first release. And man, I was really excited for these because I'm a die-hard fan of part 3 and 4. So I was really happy that they came out with these. But one, you can see is battle damage, and then the part 4 is non-battle damage. So pretty cool figures. I also have a Mezco Part 4 that's actually signed by Ted White. Unfortunately signed in black, so it's really hard to read it. But he was Part 4 Jason, so that one's still mint. And then I have the Part 2 Jason Retro by NECA. That one's still mint. And then the Part 3 I've actually opened at one point and then put him back with the mask off. So that one's a pretty cool one. Again, I'm a huge fan of Part 3, so I gotta have it. This is a really old NECA one of people's favorites, even though it doesn't have the articulation. It is the New Blood Jason, played by Kane Hodder. Pretty damn cool. Not as much articulation, but he's mint in card anyway. And then I do have one more of the McFarlane figures, which is the only other one he made, and that is the Jason X. And you can see that's signed by Kane Hodder. I've met him 4 or 5 times. And then this is a really special one here. This is the Part 3 Mezco Jason. I left that in the box before I met Richard Brooker. I wanted to have him sign it, so I picked up an extra one in the box. And it says Mike Stay Alive, and unfortunately he passed away a few years ago. So, but that's pretty much all of my mint ones. I do have some other ones in the box, like the Ultimates, just some extras, but pretty cool. Definitely my favorite part of my collection is the NECA stuff. I mean, they really knock it out of the park. This is a really old bust, had a removable mask. You know, you saw the 7-inch version of, you know, Kane Hodder's Jason. This is basically the same sculpt for the most part, but it's a bust, and his body kind of turns into a tree. And then you have this removable machete, which is pretty heavy. So, really cool piece. Definitely not a common piece to find at this point. But man, the details are just so good in this thing. Real chain, very cool. But then they also, they released this really cool scene set. So you have the Part 6 Jason Ultimate. Kind of looks like he's floating, and you got that old Camp Crystal Lake sign there. This is the original Freddy vs. Jason from the box set. I got a little guitar pick stuck in that flame. But these don't have a lot of articulation, but they're still really classic figures. Again, really excited when those came out. Couldn't wait to get that. The Part 4 Jason right here is really cool. When they released the Dream Sequence one, they actually finally included that extra hand, and it came with the quarter scale one too. So I was really happy to finally complete the kind of battle damaged, you know, end scene of Part 4. And you can see he's really creepy. You can stick the machete in his head, so you can really reenact, you know, the final piece of the film. And then one more for the little Dio pieces. You have the remake Jason kind of on this little pier scene, which is pretty cool. They had one more Dio piece as well, and that was the Camp Crystal Lake sign, which is definitely something you need. And then for my 7-inch versions, I have them all. So you got the Part 3, which looks really cool. You can see the different accessories I put over here. This is the Dream Sequence one, so you can see he's got that watery, kind of mucky looking mask, all weathered. Got his gravestone. The Pam gravestone here looks pretty cool. This is the Part 3 with the battle damaged head. This is the older Part 3. You can see the mask looks much different. This is a custom that my buddy Anthony Kane did. It's a part, it was the remake version of Jason, but he just did a custom mask, so it looks a little bit more weathered. You can see this is the kind of regular version, and then custom weathering, so really cool. And then this is definitely the best Roy figure ever made. I mean, he's really good. Ultimate Roy. And then you got another Ultimate Part 4 Jason. That's the Ultimate 2009. This one here is actually the original 2009 version. Then you got the Freddy vs. Jason Ultimate, which was nice that they actually made that. And he has the teddy bear, just like the Sideshow version. So pretty damn cool. And then in the back, you just have another, I think that's the other Ultimate Part 3. And then you have the Ultimate Part 2 in the back, which you kind of saw the box set. This one has all the articulation, so really cool. It's nice to see them all kind of displayed together. All right, guys, so that's it for the little Friday the 13th tour of the room. So I was thinking maybe I could do maybe some like media stuff like that, like artwork and movies, posters, things like that. So if you want to see more of the Friday the 13th collection that's not like figures and things like that, let me know. And I hope you enjoyed the video. So until next time, guys, see ya.